Today on Top Shelf Sports, we'll head to the Diamond to check in on both the baseball and softball teams as they begin MAC play. An NIU basketball star has made a shocking decision. Find out what's next for Eugene German. And we'll tell you which Husky athlete's love for the game leaves them as this week's leader of the pack. Top Shelf Sports starts now.
Welcome to the newest edition of Top Shelf Sports. The weather is getting slightly warmer, so that can only mean one thing. Baseball is back. I'm Scott Nickel.
And I'm Bea Garcia. You know, Scott, there was a ton of excitement surrounding opening day yesterday, but let's not forget about the NIU baseball and softball teams right here in DeKalb.
Who would forget that? We have a ton to get through, so as Will Smith would say, let's get jiggy with it. The baseball team was looking to avenge an earlier season loss when traveling to Curtis Granderson Stadium Tuesday, taking on the UIC Flames. NIU got off to a nice, quick start after a two-run home run by senior phenom Scooter Bynum, extending the lead to 3-0 in the first inning. The Flames scored in the second, but NIU capitalized on mistakes all afternoon, leading to a 5-1 victory over their in-state foes. The team is on the road this weekend, taking on Ohio University.
Softball season is now in full swing. The Huskies have had a great start to their conference play as they defeated UIC 13-2 on Tuesday. The softball team is projected to win the MAC conference, and if they keep up their momentum, they may just get there. The Huskies are set to play a doubleheader against the Buffalo Bulls starting today at 2 in DeKalb.
Freshman Kenya Majors is making an early impact in her track and field career here at NIU. Majors tied the school long jump record with a distance of 5.84 meters in her first outdoor competition. Sophomore jumper Remy Artemifio started the outdoor season strong with an automatic MAC qualifying time of 13.97 seconds in the 100-meter hurdles. The Huskies travel to California to compete in the Stanford Invitational today and tomorrow.
The gymnastics team has recently finished the MAC championship with the program's highest MAC finish in history as they came in second against Central Michigan. Senior Ashley Potts was named MAC champion on the vault, leading her to be named to the All-MAC first team. Junior Anna Martucci and senior Catherine Prentice both competed for floor, being named to the All-MAC second team. Potts, Martucci, and Prentice have been the ones to look out for this season, as their MAC performances have led them to compete in the NCAA Regional on Monday in Tuscaloosa, Alabama.
Good luck next week, ladies. Men's basketball star Eugene German shocked Husky Nation when he officially declared for the upcoming NBA draft. The sophomore guard led the Mid-American Conference in scoring with an average of 21 points per game. German's season earned him second-team All-MAC honors. German will not be hiring an agent, making him eligible to return to NIU next season if he is not drafted. The Husky star joins us now to give us his thoughts on his big decision.
Top Shelf reporter Tom Burton has more with Eugene German in the Husky Corner.
Thanks, guys. We're joined now by Eugene German, men's basketball player. How are you doing, Eugene?
I'm doing pretty good.
Good. So obviously you made the announcement that you're going to declare for the NBA draft. So what kind of brought up that decision, and how did you make it kind of?
Well, I've been working hard. All summer, been just trying to perfect my craft, and I feel like I had a pretty good season. So, just test the water, see where I'm at. I feel like I can compete with anybody. So, why not?
So was it was it made kind of last minute, or were you thinking that kind of towards the end of the season, or what was your thought process there?
I mean, I wasn't thinking it towards the end of the season, but I talked to my parents and I talked with my coaches. So, I just came up with it. I thought that was the best for me. So, yeah.
Was Monty pretty excited about it when you told him?
Yeah,
talked to him about it?
Yeah, I think he's pretty excited. He said he thinks it's a good idea. So, yeah.
So whether or not you go, obviously this year, or hopefully in the future, what do you think that maybe you need to work on just in terms of your game to have a better chance of that happening whenever that happens?
I need to keep working on my leadership. Keep facilitating, getting everybody involved. Working on bringing guys with me, in the gym with me, and just keep working on my craft, keep trying to perfect my craft, getting to the basket, things like that, working on my jump shot.
Is there anything about like in particular about the process itself excite you? Maybe being around like all those guys, all those prospective NBA players.
Oh yeah, just trying, just showing like guys, what I'm capable of. Like, I'm just not an average mid-major player. A guys try to define us as. I don't try to be average. Just show them that I can compete with others and anybody.
Definitely. Is this something you plan on doing maybe after every season out of this point, like just giving it a shot, put your name in the hat?
I'm not sure yet. That's something I go talk about with my mom and my coaches.
Cool. And then I wanted to ask you as well, so you're heading into the NBA draft, so what player do you think in the NBA right now best resembles your game? Like, who do you kind of watch a lot and try to resemble your game off of?
I watch a lot of Kyrie Irving, Damian Lillard. I try to simulate my game after them because, they gym rats, they put in a lot of work. They take this game very serious, kind of like me. And, I kind of simulate my game after them because they can go in there, get layups, crazy finishes, and, can create for others and all that. I feel like I can too.
Well, Eugene, best of luck to you and your goals, and that'll do it from here, guys. Let's send it back to the desk.
We wish you the best, Eugene. The women's tennis team saw its winless streak stretch to 2 games when they lost 6-1 in Miami. Sophomore Brody Walker was the lone bright spot for the Huskie squad after defeating Anastasia Vasukina 6-3, 6-2 in consecutive sets. Sunday's loss means NIU has dropped 7 out of their last 8 matches, heading into today's match with Western Michigan.
The men's tennis team is welcoming the Ball State Cardinals to DeKalb this Saturday. After a tough loss to Western Michigan, the Huskies are looking to get back on track against the Cardinals. The last time these MAC teams met, the Huskies won easily 5-2. The first serve is set for 1 p.m. at the Boylan Tennis Center in Rockford. Speaking of tennis, the team has welcomed a new young star who's been making a name for himself.
Top Shelf Sports reporter Martin Sotelo has more in this week's Leader of the Pack.
Redshirt freshman tennis player Chris Ortega has great confidence. He reaches all corners of the court with ease. He has major skill, but his most impressive quality, passion. Since a young age, Chris has made the court his second home.
I eat, drink, breathe, sleep tennis. I love it. I watch it all the time, and I think when it comes time to competing, I really focus well and really put my head down to work.
Chris originally committed to the University of Illinois, but after seeing minimal playing time, he knew he had to find a way to get back on the court. Chris and current coach Patrick Fisher already knew each other. After a couple of emails, Patrick knew he had a dedicated player.
He's a gamer, he loves to play. He always playing, he literally loves tennis, and everything about it.
Chris's love for the game has always fueled his competitive nature. His dedication to his craft serves as a key aspect to his success. One thing that is apparent is his willingness to go the extra mile. This shows in his preparation routine.
One thing I really like to do is play lots of points, play lots of real-life situations, like what happened in a match. I do that a lot anyway, even if it's not the week of a tournament, but I think especially the week of, you need to play lots and lots of points.
Chris's hard work and love for a sport leaves him as this week's Leader of the Pack. From Top Shelf Sports, I'm Martin Sotelo.
Chris's love for tennis motivates him to get the most out of every day.
With hard work and determination, he aims to bring a lot of success to the team in the future.
When we come back, the NIU Cheer team is headed to Daytona Beach to compete on a national stage.
Also, the Cubs and White Sox played on opening day yesterday. We'll tell you how they did. All of this and more next on Top Shelf Sports.
Hi, I'm Peter, and there's nothing I love more than sharing vegetables with my friends.
Come on in, help yourself to anything.
That's why we give our food the utmost respect it deserves. Did you know there are simple steps we can all take to help save food? You can cook it, store it, even share it. Just don't waste it. Because when it comes to food, better ache than never. To learn more, visit SaveTheFood.com.
A full life, measured in seats, starts with the right ones early on. Car crashes are a leading killer of children 1 to 13. Learn how to prevent deaths and injuries by using the right car seat for your child's age and size.
The Huskies cheer team qualified for nationals, but it wasn't an easy road to get there. Top Shelf Sports reporter Katie Smith brings us a story about overcoming adversity.
In spring of 2017, the Huskie cheer team was dropped from the NIU athletic department due to budget cuts. This resulted in them fighting to become a club and searching for a head coach. The following summer, Aubrey Gaglione decided to volunteer her time and take on the head coaching position to give the cheer team the opportunity she feels they deserve.
Last season, they ended up without a coach, meaning they couldn't go to NCAA College Nationals, and that was a huge blow for some of the kids on the team. They worked very hard, and to have that taken away from them, I'm sure was rough.
Over the summer, the cheer team had to pay out of pocket to go to camp at Lewis University, where their performance earned them a bronze bid to go to NCAA Nationals in Daytona. But the bid itself wasn't enough, as the team had to fundraise to afford to be able to go. Senior captain Macy Miller believes the team's hard work and determination on and off the mat makes the national bid even more special.
This team's really stepped up in every way. We've worked weekends, competitions, 12-hour days working at cheer competitions and t-shirt fundraisers. We've done calendars, we've done it all. This team has just done so much to make this happen that just going to nationals just feels so much better. You just feel like you earned it.
Now that all their efforts have paid off, there is only one thing left for this team to do, and that's cheer. Of course, the team would love to walk away from Daytona with some hardware, but the experience itself is something they all are valuing even more.
I'm just hoping that people get this awesome experience, whether it goes perfect or not. I just want them to have fun and get this experience because it's once in a lifetime and it's probably the best cheer experience I've ever had.
Regardless, the end result turns out the cheer team's road to Daytona is something they'll never forget. For Top Shelf Sports, I'm Katie Smith.
Thanks, Katie, and big ups to Aubrey for volunteering her time like that. The cheer team heads to nationals next Thursday and will showcase their performance on Saturday at 4 p.m. on Victor E. Court.
Women's golf is coming off a strong outing this past week in the Little Rock, Arkansas State Invitational. The Huskies had their best team score of the season, finishing second in the field with a team score of 27 over par. Freshman Lauren Engel had 3 solid rounds, shooting 3 over and finishing tied for 5th.
It's the most wonderful time of the year.
Scott, I think you're going to need to keep your day job. That's right, baseball is back, and I guess the Bulls and Blackhawks are still enduring their dreadful seasons. Let's send it over to Brandon Giese in this week's Sports Hub.
The Bulls continue to tank, and the Blackhawks are doing a lot of the same. I don't know about everyone else, but I am so excited that baseball is back, so let's start on the diamond. The Chicago White Sox opened their season in Kansas City at Kauffman Stadium. The Royals jumped on James Shields early with this bomb from Lucas Duda, but the Sox were not too worried. Designated hitter Matt Davidson, he hit not 1, not 2, but 3 home runs. My goodness, that helps fuel an offensive explosion. In total, the Sox hit 6 home runs as a team, tying the most ever hit by a club on opening day. This was a positive start for a team that is rebuilding around young talent. The Sox win this one 14-7. They have today off, but they will play again in Kansas City at 6:15 on Saturday. Across town, the Chicago Cubs opened their season in Miami. The first pitch of the MLB season has a very happy result. Cubs center fielder Ian Happ becomes the first player since 1986 to homer on the first pitch of the season. And this was just the beginning for the Cubs as they belted 3 home runs, one of those coming off the bat of Kyle Schwarber. This was a much-needed recovery after a bad error that plated 2 Marlins in the third. The Cubs win this one 8-4 despite a rough start from John Lester. They will take on the Marlins tonight at 6:10. Opening day is a time for celebration around the MLB, but in Miami's case, it was a time for reflection. Mike Mitchell is here to tell us more.
February 14th, a day that no one around the country will ever forget. A deranged domestic terrorist gunned down 17 of his former classmates at Stoneman Douglas High School. Thursday was opening day of the MLB season, and both the Miami Marlins and Chicago Cubs did not forget what transpired on that day prior to their contest. Before the game, the teams both wore Parkland Strong t-shirts in honor of the students' loss. This event especially hit hard for Chicago Cub and former Stoneman Douglas student Anthony Rizzo, who spoke to mourners just days after the attack happened.
I went to Stoneman Douglas. I grew up in Stoneman Douglas. I played on those fields. I went to those classes. I studied in those classrooms. The same school we saw in videos yesterday for all of the wrong reasons.
The teams throughout the series will also wear a commemorative patch remembering that day. Now, also prior to first pitch, baseball players from both Florida and Illinois helped present the American flag in unity as the national anthem was sung by Miami native Jason Derulo. Now, let's jump along to the second inning. And what do you know? You couldn't script it any better than this. Anthony Rizzo with a moonshot of a home run to the upper deck of Marlins Park. I know many people had to be in tears after that one. After the game, Rizzo said that was for the students of Stoneman Douglas. Following the W, I was able to catch up with some exciting Cubs fans with some more than positive outlooks for the season.
For the upcoming season, I'm already getting my 2018 World Series championship ring fitted.
I'm looking forward to warm weather, cold beer, and some great Chicago's.
Opening day W's always have fans excited about the season.
The Cubs' W on opening day was something special, but what was even more special was the pregame act of kindness, remembering all of those Parkland victims, Brandon. Yeah, you were down in Miami for opening day. What was that experience like? And also, which team did you think performed better on opening day?
It was definitely an interesting experience between the Cubs and the Sox. Unfortunately, I have to say the Sox performed much better. Last year, our whole issue was John Lester had such an awful first inning as always. And what happened again yesterday? John Lester was atrocious in the first inning. If the Cubs want to go far, they're going to need that to change.
Well, thanks again, Mike, for joining me. That package was amazing.
Have an awesome day, Brandon.
You too. Top Shelf sports reporter Emily Russo has more on who Huskies will root for.
Thanks, Brandon. Opening day was this week, and I'm here on campus to ask students their opinions on the better Chicago team, White Sox or Cubs. Let's go find out. All right, so opening day was this week, and what kind of base are you? A Cubs fan, Sox fan, any other team?
I'll go Cubs.
Cubs.
Did you all see Cubs opening day day?
Mm-hmm.
That's a great season for me.
So what do you think about their showing, their first game?
They won 8-4 today. Ian Happ started off the season great. Home run. Lester didn't do too good. He only pitched 3, and he only pitched 3. He gave up what, 3 runs?
Okay, so I can tell you're a Sox fan.
Yeah.
So what do you think about their season this year? How do you think they're going to do?
Personally, I think they're going to do a lot better than last year. You know, we've gotten,
The new prospects.
new prospects. I really think that, you know, if it would be really cool playoffs maybe, but that'd be a bit of a long shot. But I do like, you know, how they're rebuilding. I still like Avi. He's probably my favorite right now. And yeah.
So what are you, a White Sox or a Cubs fan? White Sox. Nice. Okay, me too. All right, and then so are you excited for this season? Or are you like hearing a lot of things about how they're getting better, and you know the Cubs just won the World Series, so what do you think?
I'm really excited about it. They've been so
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
I'm hoping they're a lot better this year.
What do you think, like how do you think they're going to do this year? Do you think they're going to do better than they did last year, or what do you see that?
Once you've been to the top of the mountain, it's always get back. I want the all Chicago World Series. I want to see the Cubs and the Sox in the World Series, and just sit back and watch whatever happens.
Well, the students seem optimistic about both of the teams, but we'll see how long that stands, knowing the history of the Chicago baseball rivalry we have here in town. Back to you at the desk, Brandon.
One thing that is known for sure is that both teams have a huge fan base. Now let's head over to the hardwood and check in on the Tank Squad. Yes, the Chicago Bulls are doing their very best to move towards the top pick in the draft. Lauri Markkanen, Chris Dunn, and Zach LaVine all sat out in this one with injuries. This alley-oop dunk from Wade to Bam Adebayo should tell the entire story. Take a look at Bam, right reaches back and throws it down. The Bulls drop their 7th straight game, and the Tank squad continues. They will take on the Magic tonight at 6 in Orlando. From one disappointing team to the next, the Chicago Blackhawks took the ice against the Winnipeg Jets. Surprisingly enough, the Hawks played a good all-around game. They won this one, backed 6-2, backed by a pair of goals from Thomas Yurko. But this wasn't the story from the UC. On a night where the Hawks honored longtime vet Brett Seabrook for the 1,000th game, the man of the night was Scott Foster. Yes, a 36-year-old accountant was put into last night's game as an emergency, and he won. That is a perfect representation of the Blackhawks season. They will face off with the Avalanche tonight at 8 in Colorado. Well, that's going to do it here in the Sports Hub. Make sure to keep up with the majors, and also the Masters is fast approaching. Back to you, Scott and Bea.
I, for one, am excited to see Tiger Woods back in Augusta.
So am I.
Coming up on Top Shelf Sports, we will check in with Kobe Price as he updates us on the madness in March prior to the big Final Four matchups this weekend.
And we have a jam-packed top 5 plays you won't want to miss.
What?
These are cool. Did you, what did you?
I understand. I know it's not your typical resume.
Okay, well.
But candidate. But I've been working double shifts just to pay for books. I've been raising my 2 little brothers. I'm determined, driven, motivated. Isn't that what you're looking for?
Look beyond the resume and discover new ways to develop great talent at gradsoflife.org.
Drop that baby.
I see you mobbing over her. Let's go. Let's mob. Let's crawl. Let's crawl. Let's crawl. Hey, yo, we mobbing. Come on, girl. Let's crawl. Hey, yo, let's crawl. Hey, yo, let's crawl. Hey, let's crawl. Hey, yo, let's crawl.
March is coming to a close, so everyone should know what that means.
Yup, it's allergy season. But the big news is the NCAA tournament is wrapping up, and Top Shelf sports reporter Kobe Price will catch you guys up with Kobe's madness.
Thanks. I must admit I'm a little choked up because there's only 3 games left in the NCAA men's basketball tournament as we head into the weekend. Now, if someone told you they picked these last 4 teams to be in their bracket, they're probably lying, because the 9th-seeded Loyola University Ramblers clinched their first Final Four appearance since 1963 with a win over the Kansas State. The Ramblers didn't need a miraculous game-winning shot this time, as they pulled off a wire-to-wire 78-62 victory. Now, Loyola students and fans couldn't contain their excitement as they're only 2 wins away from their first NCAA title in nearly over half a century. And they have every right to be excited because only 0.2% of brackets submitted to CBSSports.com had Loyola in the Final Four. It's truly a tournament for the ages. Now, the University of Michigan Wolverines left little doubt in mind as fans pulled off a convincing 58-54 victory over the Florida State Seminoles. The Wolverines will make their second Final Four appearance this century and are seeking their first NCAA title since 1989. Now, controversy ensued after the game when Florida State head coach Leonard Hamilton had a less than stellar response when Dana Jacobson of CBS asked why Hamilton's team didn't foul a Michigan player and let the clock run out in order for Michigan to win the game. But Hamilton later apologized for his behavior towards Jacobson at a later day. Now, the Duke Blue Devils and Kansas Jayhawks had a game for the ages. The Jayhawks pulled off the tight victory after Grayson Allen missed a potential game-winning bucket. That's because Jayhawks guard Malik Newman went off against the Blue Devils in overtime as he scored all 13 of the Jayhawks points in the extra playing time. Kansas will go on and make their 6th Final Four appearance in the last 17 years. And Villanova defeated Texas Tech in the, let's be honest, the least eventful game of the weekend. But in other Nova-related news, Jalen Brunson was named AP Men's College Player of the Year, and Villanova will make their 2nd Final Four appearance in the last 3 seasons, which the last time they made it, they actually won the title. Now, only 3 games remain in the tournament, like I said earlier. We have Loyola will take on Michigan tomorrow at 5:09, while Villanova will take on Kansas at 7:49. Well, that's it for me on the NCAA front. Let's enjoy these last 3 games because we're not going to have for long. Next week, tune in for the last segment of Kobe's Madness to see who emerges the champion. Back to you guys at the desk.
I certainly will enjoy those games this weekend, Kobe. Thank you. Bea, I'm not sure about you, but even after a couple of trades, I still can't get my fantasy team to score points.
Well, I've had pretty good luck with my fantasy team. So let's take it over to Ryan Ostry for more within this week's Fantasy Update.
Well, guys, let me see if I can help you both out so you can win in fantasy every single week. We will start off with the defending NBA champions, the Golden State Warriors. 24-year-old point guard Quentin Cook out of Duke has been coming on strong lately in the absence of Steph Curry. Curry has been in and out of action due to ankle injuries, and Cook has stepped up, averaging 7.4 points per game, shooting 45% from the field, averaging almost 19 minutes per game, and is owned in 45.9% of ESPN fantasy leagues. Another player to keep your eye on is Marshawn Brooks, who just recently signed a 10-day contract with the Memphis Grizzlies and did not disappoint. Brooks dropped 21 points in 21 minutes. Talk about an essential pickup for the 14th-seeded Memphis Grizzlies in the West. He might be a risk not playing in a lot of action so far, but the reward is much higher with this deadly score. Next, we will transition to Buzz City, where Marvin Williams, who has averaged a solid 9.2 points per game and 4.8 rebounds per game. Williams is a contender under MJ's squad and is only owned in a measly 7.4% of ESPN fantasy leagues, so go pick him up. At the power forward spot, there's a lot of names to choose from. However, I'm going to have to go with Markieff Morris from the nation's capital. Morris has been on a tear his last 4 games, averaging almost 14 points per game. Throughout the season, Morris has stepped up with the missing presence of John Wall, averaging 11.9 points per game and 5.6 rebounds. Fantasy owners will want to jump on him quick, with his stock rising currently at 46.6%. Wrapping up, the center I recommend for you to draft should be hometown native Bobby Portis of the Chicago Bulls. As the Bulls spiral downwards and rest Larry Markkanen, Portis is getting even more playing time. The Arkansas product is averaging 13.2 points per game, 6.7 rebounds, and shooting 46.7% from the field. Go get him, Bobby. And that will about do it for this week's edition of Fantasy Basketball. Let's send it back over to Bea and Scott at the desk.
It's the hottest segment on Friday afternoon off Public Access TV.
It sure is. I'm getting a sunburn just talking about it. So let's go ahead and send it over to David, the Big Heat Craighead, pronto.
I'm the Big Heat, and I'm here to give you the latest diagnosis of mixed martial arts news. First, live on Saturday night, the undefeated boxing champion from New Zealand, Joseph Parker, has a unification fight with the undefeated Anthony Joshua. Then, I will give you the lowdown on Malaysian Invasion 5. This Saturday on Showtime, boxer Joseph Parker puts his belt on the line against British boxer Anthony Joshua in a heavyweight matchup. Joseph Parker is known for hands of stone, with 18 of his 24 total wins ending by knockout. Anthony Joshua became an Olympic boxing champion in 2012. In 2013, Joshua turned professional and has not been defeated in 20 fights, all of them won by knockout. This fight is going to be a balls-to-the-wall brawl. My diagnosis for this fight is an Anthony Joshua victory by KO. On Friday night, halfway across the world in a majestic land called Malaysia, it's the grand finale of Malaysian Invasion 5. After 12 grueling months, the grand finale of the amateur mixed martial arts tournament comes to its end. Featuring amateur fighters from all weight classes, including a women's bracket, Malaysian Invasion 5 is sure to deliver a week without any UFC. You can tune in on TV One and Hot FM. That's my diagnosis this week in mixed martial arts. Back to the professionals, Scott and Bay at the desk.
David, you're crazy, but in a good way.
Yeah, dude. Never change.
Scott, it's time to give the people what they want, the top 5 plays. Go ahead and get started.
All right, Bea. Leading off, we saw this play earlier, but we're going to look at it again. Ian Happ lets us all know that baseball is indeed back as he drills the first pitch of the season for a long home run. It's the first time a player has homered on the first pitch of the season since Dwight Evans did it for the Red Sox in 1986.
Number 4, Jamal Murray crosses over Joel Embiid and leaps over J.J. Redick with a sick dunk.
At number 3, 6'4", Victor Oladipo teaches 7-foot Willie Cauley-Stein that it's not about the size of the dog in this fight with the monster rejection at the rim. He got up.
At number 2, David Nwaba puts Josh Richardson through the spin cycle and throws the dunk down between 3 defenders.
What a poster. And the number 1 player of the week. The last time someone wore number 27 in Montreal, it was Vlad Guerrero. This time, it's his son hitting a moonshot walk-off home run. Look at that swing. This 19-year-old looks to be every bit of a ball player his dad was and more. After this fan showing, Commish Rob Manfred needs to seriously consider moving a team back to Montreal. My adrenaline is pumping after those plays, Bea.
Yeah, it definitely got my Friday started off right.
I would agree. Top Shelf Sports is produced and directed by students here at Northern Illinois University.
For more on Top Shelf Sports, look us up and like us on Facebook. Be on the lookout for our various podcasts on SoundCloud. You can also check out our Twitter site at topshelf_NIU to keep up with the latest sports content.
We want to thank you all for joining us. And as always, go Huskies.